The Brad Johnson Show. I'm turning losers like you into winners like me. You're about to enter the winning zone.
Hey guys, welcome to the Brad Johnson Show. I am your host, Brad Johnson, as you can tell by my amazing voice that I use to speak with. I'm here today by myself. Assistant to the host is not here because I'm here all by myself and they're not as in the same location that I am, or even in a virtual location recording at the same time that I am. Because, I'm just going solo, which is fine with me. I'm an entrepreneur. We're pretty used to doing things the solo way because I'm really good at doing that. So, wanted to just come today and give you guys an awesome episode where I talk to you about what it means to simplify your life. Now, if you haven't gotten the Brad Johnson course yet, I don't know what is wrong with you. Probably were dropped as a child and hit your head or something like that. Equally painful. But if you have gotten the course, then you know that one of the biggest strategies that I advocate for simplifying your life is simply outsourcing. But you may say, Brad, I have outsourced everything. I took the Brad Johnson course. I outsourced things. I followed your instructions. I did the handout. I did both the handouts. And I watched the bonus video about how to outsource. And I'm still having problems. Well, if you are that person, then that's why this episode is coming out today, because I just realized as an entrepreneur, you can outsource a ton of things, but then there's also the fact that you are just an amazing entrepreneur type person, if you're like me, and there's a lot of stuff still to do. So, they say statistics and stuff, like they call me the numbers king. I know those statistics and all that sort of thing very well, but they say that 90% of businesses fail. I did the math. They say that 90% of businesses fail, and like entrepreneurs try and get going and they just can't do it. But that's a very bad number. Okay, I did the math myself, Brad Johnson math, and it's actually 137% of businesses fail. Okay. Wrap your mind around the number. That is it's bigger than 90, okay? 137% of businesses fail. And why is that? It's because 47% of those businesses didn't even start. Therefore, they failed before they even started. So that's why the 90 plus 47 is 137. So there's that 10% of businesses that start and that don't fail. But then there's also the 47%, which added on to 90% is 137% of businesses that didn't even start and therefore they failed. Because I always say that's one of my things that people misquote me on all the time is they're like, well, you only miss all the shots you don't take or whatever. And it's just ridiculous. Like, basketball has nothing to do with business, people. It's all about business, and that's what I'm talking about here. So when I say that you lose by not starting, that is the proper quote that people have misquoted me on all the time, which is just ridiculous. I should probably sue them all, but I'm not going to because I'm a nice guy. So anyway, why do I bring up that stat? It's because the reason that most businesses fail is because there's not enough bandwidth. Okay, and what do I mean by bandwidth? I'm not talking about that saw that has a really narrow blade. Like that. I'm not talking about your router for your Wi-Fi or something like that. I'm talking about the width of the band, and that band happens to be who you are and the amount of hours that you have in the day. So if and it goes into quality of life too. Okay, so businesses fail because they don't have enough bandwidth. The person running the business doesn't have enough bandwidth. And then it's just quality of life. So let's say you're using up all your bandwidth trying to do all the business stuff and you have no quality of life. Because, it's, like I've said before, it's the hustle and the grind, but actually not hustling and not grinding at the same time, or at least getting that grind just right. That perfect grind where it's not too mushy and it's not too chunky, and just that perfect middle ground right there. That's what you're looking for. And you can only have that if you're able to to outsource some things, and then on top of outsourcing, simplifying. Now, simplifying, that's a big word that I think a lot of people misunderstand. And basically what it means is to take something that is very hard to understand and a difficult topic or something like that, and break it into its component parts. And by doing so, you are taking those component parts and making them separate things that are smaller than the whole of which they comprise. Now, when you do something like that and take something and make it smaller than the whole of which the different parts comprise, you make that something that is smaller. And as science tells us, smaller things are easier to understand. That is what simplifying is, in a very simple definition there. So what we're talking about here today is going over an article. This was published on, let's see here, some random website. I don't even know how I came across this. One of my VAs sent it to me, I think. Entrepreneur.com. Huh, never heard of it. Anyway, so this is a little article on this little website from Chris Pentilla. Okay, I would definitely tell Chris that he needs to work on his last name. But yeah, so if you listened to the Brad Johnson Show before, you know my style. I mean, I have so much original content and all the amazing books that I've written, and coming soon, the first Brad Johnson novel. So keep your eye out for that. Did that NaNoWriMo thing. Yeah, totally nailed that. Anyway, but yeah, so most of what you see on the internet and the entrepreneur space is probably just kind of people kind of copying what I have said in the past. So when that happens, I want to go back through and just kind of review it and, set the record straight, I guess is what it boils down to. So Chris wrote this article. You can go check it out, entrepreneur.com. Like I said, I don't even know if Google will be able to find this website. It seems pretty tiny. Anyway, it's called 25 Ways to Simplify Your Business. And I don't know if we'll get through all 25 of these, but I wanted to just talk to you about simplifying things, because that's when you can have that quality of life that allows you to, take that ski trip to Vail, or, if snow's not your thing, go check out Bali in the wintertime. That's the kind of simplification that allows you to go do things and improve the quality of your life, okay? And maybe that's spending some more time at the gym. Lord knows most of you guys need that, big time. I probably don't, because I'm so jacket. #jacket. Thanks, Chad Brock. All right, so number one is serve it up, okay? He's talking here about servers. Now, I'm a very techie guy. I know technology and the technology all over the place. So basically what he's saying is that you want to have your own server. Now, most of you probably don't know that if you use a service like, Dropbox or Google Docs or any of those type of things, that they have their own servers that they're working off of. So the question is, if you're going to swim in the big boy pool, are you going to be a big boy and have a big boy server as well? Your own server, because all the cool people do. So if you don't, you're not one of those cool people. All right, so that's one, is just have your own server. That way, all your own stuff is on your own thing, and then you don't have to worry about other people's things being on your thing or your thing being on other people's things, which is not what you want at all. Number two is phone it in. So this is where it's, instead of actually going to meetings, you phone things in. Now, I would change this, obviously. I think it definitely needs to be changed because this is the 21st century, people, and I would say hologram it in. That is definitely the way to go. Number three, take it online. Okay, so this is where, like, anything that you do with paper, stop it. I mean, talk about simplifying your life. Imagine if there was no paper in your life. How much lighter your house would feel, how much lighter your wallet would feel. I mean, if there was no paper in your life, I mean, just imagine that. And think of all, the trees that could be used for higher purposes, like straws and stuff like that. All right, so number four is hit the web, okay? So this is talking about just make sure that all the information that you have is on the web. That is the same as number three. Wow. Okay. Sorry here. This is, like I said, people take my ideas, they write articles about them, and they get them wrong, okay? And that's why I feel the need to go back through these articles, even when they're on tiny websites like this, and just make some corrections. So, so let's see, what is the next one? Here we go. File taxes electronically, okay? Anybody who knows about business stuff like I do knows that taxes are things that happen at least once a year and sometimes more. And if that's the case, why not do them online so you can, make your life simpler? That's what it's all about, okay? So that was, I don't know what number, probably 5 or 6 or something like that. So pay now or not later. Okay, that's, definitely. Easy way to simplify your life is to just, pay things up front. Like, even if you're not sure you're going to spend the money, just pay them in anyway. Like, if you're, like, going by a car lot and you're like, man, that's a nice car, maybe someday I'll buy it, and you're just like, okay, but I'm not probably going to do it today. Still, just go in there, give them the money, and then, boom, you have a car when you need it. That's kind of how I generally operate. I do the same thing with food. I'll just prepay at restaurants, and because I know I'm going to show up there eventually, and so then when I come in, it's just like, hey, it's Brad Johnson. Remember the guy, the guy who prepaid? And they're like, oh, cool, yeah, have a seat. And it's a great way to build good relationships and stuff like that. Can be a little costly if you've forgotten where you've paid or where you haven't, or they've forgotten where you paid and where you haven't. But, when you got as much money as I do, it doesn't really matter. All right, next one is to, let's see. I'm just going to skip that one. That one's lame. Okay. Yeah, no, that's lame as well. Man, who... yeah, okay. He says, we'll just skip over here to number 11. Hire strategically, okay? Now, this kind of goes into the outsourcing things that we've talked about. Is if you don't want to be doing something and it would simplify your life to have somebody else do it for you, just hire them, okay? It's worth the money. People ask me, like, Brad, is it worth the money? And I always say, yes, it is worth the money. Because what is money if not time? And what is time if not money? And what is an employee if not someone who's saving you time and therefore money and therefore also saving you time? So there you go. Number 12 is to stay on schedule. Now, I would disagree with this one wholeheartedly, because if you're trying to simplify your life, having a schedule requires some kind of plan. Now, that is not very simple, is it? If you're planning something, it's going to take time to do that. And that's what we're trying to do, is free up time so you can do more, speedboat vacations, or, I was just taking my Pershing 62 out the other day. And if I had set that on a schedule, that would not have worked, okay? I would not have been sitting in those leather seats and that cherry wood on the rims and stuff. That wouldn't have happened if I had been on a schedule. So skip that one. Let's see. Next one is to tighten your supply chain. Now, this is more for product-based businesses. Obviously, if you don't have a supply chain, then I wouldn't recommend tightening it, because over-tightening can result in some bad things. All right, so let's see. Fewer staff meetings, okay? It was a long time ago. We did a meeting on meetings. We did an episode on meetings, and it was amazing. Totally awesome. Pulled in one of the great experts on meetings, and he kind of went through how to do them and how not to do them. Very important. Most people do meetings so wrong. So besides just doing them righter, you also want to make sure that you do them lesser, okay? And by lesser, I mean less often. Okay. All right. So there you go. That's that one. You also want to make sure that you are leveraging partnerships. This is his number 18. I would have put this at number 7, honestly. I think that is a far better number than 18 for this one. So leveraging partnerships. This is the idea of basically outsourcing without making somebody feel like you're outsourcing to them. So basically they're like, wow, I'm a partner, and it just boosts their ego while you're getting the same function of an outsourcing experience. So to you, it's just outsourcing. To them, it's a partnership, okay? Generally speaking, if you want to outsource to somebody in the USA, it's going to take a partnership. If you want to get outside the USA, that's where you run into the outsourcing stuff. It's a lot cheaper. But, depending on what other perks you can throw into a partnership, like, a branded baseball cap, or, maybe a koozie with your logo on it, something like that, that'll make them feel like partners. And then boom, you got an outsourcer person that is actually, they think they're a partner, though, the real story. All right, let's see. Next is to get the massage, okay? One of the best ways that you can just simplify your life is to slow down. And one of the best ways to slow down is getting a massage. Because I've tried this. This was a business idea that I had, and we put a couple million into it. There was something off, and I think it was actually the partnership. Speaking of partnerships, that I had with the masseuse, is that the mobile massage service. And by mobile, people were like, "Oh, so you come to my house?" And it's like, no, we give you a massage on the go. So the masseuse would just walk right behind you, give you the massage while you're going about your day. I still think it's brilliant. I don't know. Sometimes people just don't recognize value. I think that's what we're running into there. So, get the massage, though. I would recommend the mobile version, because then you don't have to stop and do things, or stop and not do anything. You can actually be doing things while you get a massage. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know. I'm still looking for some business partners in that to really take that off the ground. Literally, because people laying on tables or on the ground to get a massage versus walking while they have a massage. I mean, just talk about efficiency. #efficiency. All right, let's see. Let's get a couple more of these. create boundaries. Okay, this one's very, very important. Okay, people know when Brad Johnson is in his hot tub, you do not bring him work stuff unless he has his Aquadesk with him and is, answering emails or, making phone calls or, closing deals like I do all the time when I'm in my hot tub. But if I'm just in my hot tub with, say a Jack Reacher novel or something like that, then I do not want to be disturbed. Okay. Those are my boundaries. Okay. The water in which I reside is a boundary and you are not allowed to cross it. Okay. At all. If I'm there, like that's one of the best ways to simplify your life is to create those boundaries and then stick to them, okay? I do not hesitate to fire people who cross those boundaries. If it's a VA, if it's one of my butlers, if it's one of the maids, like whoever it is, if I have my boundary of like I'm on the racquetball cart, I'm in the zone. I am just nailing everything. Like each shot is money, and they come in and try and interrupt in some way. That's like no, this is the boundary. You're fired. Get out. And it's just like that. And they learn pretty quickly. So. Surprisingly for them. All right, so yeah, definitely create those boundaries. And then here's another one. This is actually pulled straight from one of my books. Actually, the book was called The New To-Do List. And I liked that title because it rhymed and also because it had the word list in it as well. It's one of my favorite words. And so shortening your to-do list is the whole concept of instead of having 12 things on your list, put 6 things on your list, okay? And the way you make that work is you just compile things all into one like power thing, okay? So instead of having those 12 things on your list, you only have 6, but within those 6 are all 12. Okay, so it's a mental thing where you're like, wow, I don't have very much to do today, and yet you put in a 37-hour day. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. You shorten your to-do list and you maximize your power and your impact. And yeah, there you go. Okay. So then the last one here, number 25, is to simplify when it comes to technology. Okay, now again, I would majorly disagree. I went to a conference one time that was something about campfires and like nature and wow, it was horrible. Like they tried to take my cell phone away from me and there was a little bit of a scene, but I ended up winning because I'm one of the benefits of being so #jacked that like I am. And yeah, I was not going to give that away. I needed it. Now there was no cell service at that hellhole, but I was able to get out of there very quickly and retreated back into the safety of technology. So simplifying your life, don't get rid of the tech. I mean, it's there for a reason. There's a reason that we have the tech that we do, and it's because we want to have it. Okay, it just makes sense. All right. Wow. That was quite the whirlwind. I don't think we got all 25 because he, like I said, that guy really messed some of those up. So I had to fix them, but that's what I'm here for. To help, even the authors of the world become more #winnerly. And I want to help you become more #winnerly. And I'm doing that through the Brad Johnson course, the Brad Johnson Show course, the video course from Brad Johnson and Brad Johnson Enterprises. I want you to get it. I want you to have it. I want you to experience it in a whole new way. Experience me and my dulcet tones. And on the video, you get to see my dulcet face all in one place. And it's amazing. And it's over 4 hours of content. And it's a great way to support the show. Like I mentioned a couple episodes ago, we had to go to 1 episode a week. I mean, James is, not doing whatever he's doing with some ridiculous Texan person. And then I'm here, just holding down the fort. And I'm not only holding down the fort, I'm also building it at the same time and relocating. So all that is just, taking up a ton of time with the new businesses and stuff like that too, that I'm always starting. Winning Liquefied is still a thing, despite the fact that the check that I was supposed to have was not signed, like apparently checks have to be signed. Anyway, all that to say, if you buy the course, you keep the Brad Johnson Show on the air. So go do that, check it out, make it happen, people. You will not regret it. And if you do, then there's something wrong with you. Until next time, well, next week I'll have another awesome episode for you, so stay tuned for that. But until next time, ciao.
You've just listened to an episode of awesomeness. Now, go out and spread the awesomeness and help others fix the mess that is their life and help them stop being a loser and start winning in business, health, and their personal life by getting them to listen to The Brad Johnson Show. Book your face, tweet your tweets, and Insta your grams at Brad Johnson Show. The Brad Johnson Show. Winners only.